3, 2, 1. Rolling sound. Who are you?
My name is Kia Pascal. I am 32. I'm a nurse. I play music. I love animals. I do a lot of different things, like hobby wise. That's all I got for now.
What was your childhood like? What were some of the important lessons that you learned then that you carry with you today?
Um, Childhood was good. Um, Parents were divorced when I was 4, so I didn't really know them together. But I grew up still with both of my parents in my life. Um, Grew up, I would say, relatively privileged. They sent me to good schools, charter schools. Um, Only child, so I had both of their attention my whole life. Um, but they always taught me, like, even though you do have, privilege, like, don't act like you do, and don't think you're better than anyone, because it can be taken away at any time. And so I think I've kind of grown up holding that, like, you can, enjoy nice things, have nice things, but you don't have to, like, don't be a dick about it, basically.
How does a flower grow?
Okay, so you got some soil, and then you have seed. Well, this is like if you're growing a flower, I'm assuming. I'm not good at growing flowers, but you have some soil, and then you have the seed, and then you water it and you cultivate it, and then over time, boom, it grows. But out in nature, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more simple, but that's my interpretation of it.
All right. I'll ask that you give me a random number between 1 and 100.
18.
What's one thing you would like to change about yourself? Why does it need to change?
Mm. Oh, that's tough. Um, I would probably say any willingness to not do something that I want to do for, sorry, the sake of, like, somebody else, or like what somebody else would think. Because I don't really, not that I don't care what people think, but I don't go with some of the, like, hobbies or like business ventures or whatever that I would want to do because of, how somebody else might feel, or like just out of fear and just lots of anxiety about, like, doing a lot of things. So that's something I would want to change so that I actually can do a lot of the things that I want to actually do.
All right. Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
63.
Do you have a favorite book? A line in a piece of poetry? Literature? Why do you relate to it?
I do have a favorite book. Okay, I got like three favorite. I really love books. I love books. But one of them would be Dread Nation, and very good book, very good series. It's about, because I'm a horror buff too, Scream Queen, and it's about like zombies. It's like a zombie apocalypse, but during slavery times. So they, like, put all of the African American girls and even some Native American girls and boys into, like, school so they could teach them how to fight so that they could fight the zombie apocalypse. It's bizarre, but it's pretty important because, our history as African Americans in America, and just the twist on it is pretty cool. And so it was significant to me because it kind of painted us in a different light during slavery times versus just, working on plantations. I mean, they still pulled you from plantations and made you work for, white people, but it was still different. And so I really appreciated that because, like I said, it put us in a different light and kind of a place of power during that time versus, what we were taught we were like during slavery. I think that answered the question.
Give me another number from 1 to 100.
86.
Is a life exclusive, excuse me, is a life exclusive to pleasure with no suffering worthwhile?
Can you repeat the question?
Is a life that's exclusive to pleasure with no suffering a worthwhile life?
No. I think you have to have, not saying suffering is good, but I don't think you'll know what actual pleasure is if you don't ever experience pain or if you don't experience suffering. I think you kind of have to have both in order for you to really know like what's good. Of course, you don't want a life that's, full of pain and full of suffering, because I mean that's no good, but like you do have to have both, I think.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
Did I say 16? I don't think I said 16.
What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you? What does an uninhibited you look like?
Man, I know this might sound bad. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 11 years this year. Good Lord. I would quit nursing and I would live my life. And I always wanted to be a nurse. I always wanted to, help people. I knew like in high school, like I'm going to college, I'm going to nursing school. I was a nurse at 21 straight through. But I always said that I became a nurse so that I could fund my other passions. And it's not to say that I don't care about people. I'm a good nurse, but I would be lying if I said that nursing in and of itself was my passion, because it's not. I've always been an artist. I've always enjoyed creating things, making things. And nursing has luckily provided me the ability to do that on my off time. But at the same time, especially during COVID, it has become such a downer, and it kind of fucking sucks sometimes. And it's been kind of beating a lot of us down. So for me, being uninhibited, and if money wasn't a factor, I would leave nursing. I would focus on, pet things. I would focus on volunteer work. I would focus on creating more art things. I would focus on things that made me and my family happy, and my cat. And those kinds of things where I wouldn't feel like damn, I gotta go back to work. I don't ever want to feel like that. But I understand we gotta do what we gotta do. And it's just a part of life.
All right. I'll have you give me one final number from 1 to 100.
Let's go with 37.
What's been your biggest mistake so far in life, and what did you learn from it?
I'm gonna need a second on that one. Biggest mistake. Hmm. This is tough only in the sense that I kind of planned out my life from high school on. Like I said, I went straight to college, went straight to work, and just kind of did everything that was kind of in the plan. So as far as mistakes outside of career, if we're talking about maybe love life, oh my gosh, lots of mistakes there. But with my husband, we when we were dating, we broke up for 3 weeks. And I was like, I'm going to live my best life. I don't need him. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, blah, blah, womp, womp. And my mom was like, y'all are going to get back. My mom has hated everyone who I dated, everyone except for him. And I was like, no, forget him. We going to do what we want to do. So I went and I dated a couple people, went on dates, did my thing. And honestly, we probably shouldn't have, we shouldn't have broken up. We probably shouldn't have, but we got back together, and then we eloped 2 weeks later. So that whole era was probably, it was a definite learning experience. And I think of mistakes as just, you learn from it. Like every experience that you have, good or bad, like it's something for you to learn from. And it depends on what you do with it. Like you can harp on it and be like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But there's a lot of things that you won't do in the future because of whatever mistakes you did back in the day. So I didn't make the best decisions while we were broken up, but I mean, I learned from them, and we ain't broke up since. And it's been like 8, 9 years. So it is what it is.
How do you find meaning in your daily experience, and what propels you through life?
Propels me through life. Um, the fact that I am able to still create, like creating and making things and coming up with new ideas, that's kind of what gets me through, because that's where my passion is. Like I love making new things or coming up with new ideas for things or coming up with new art pieces. Like that's what gets me through. And finding meaning in daily life, I had an uncle, well, I still have him, he's not dead, but I have an uncle who a few years ago asked me, like, just we're at a family function. He was like, well, what'd you learn today? And I was like, nothing, it's Saturday. Like, why? And he was like, every day, whether you're in school or you're at work, like you're learning something, and you learn something every single day, whether you notice it or not. And that's kind of stuck with me through like almost every day for the last few years. And I think about that every day. Like, what did I learn today? And even if I'm not at work or it's like a Sunday or something, like I'll learn something random. Like I'll be watching TV and I'm like, oh, well, this new show is actually good. That's what I learned today. And so I'll just kind of do that on a daily basis now, just because he's right. Like you learn something on a daily basis, whether you intend to or if you don't. And so that's just something I think about, and it kind of it gives me meaning for every day, because yeah, like every day, even though it feels stagnant, every day is not stagnant.
What has the experience of living been like for you to this point? What can people learn from your life?
From my life, I mean living's been cool. Sometimes it kind of feels like just kind of going through life, like I was just saying about like some days being stagnant feels more like just you're alive but you're not like living your life. Sometimes it does kind of feel like that. um but lost my train of thought. What was the end of that question again?
What can people learn from your life?
I don't know about that. I mean, I kind of do live kind of in a way that I determined I want to be happy with my life. I want to be happy regardless of what other people are going to say or do. I want to do the right thing, whether um, it's appreciated or not. And that's a big thing that I've kind of dealt with nursing, because sometimes they, expect you to do more. It's my cat. Expect you to do more of like not necessarily the right thing, but what they expect you to do. And I've challenged a lot of like management and all that. Like, I'm not doing that, because this is not like, this isn't looking out for people. Like, you have to look out for people versus the business aspect or the money aspect. And that's something that I always kind of hold with me. And I get in a lot of trouble for it at work, because I'm going to fight back about it. Like, you have to look out for people first. And I think we've kind of lost that as a society. So I would probably say that that's what some people could learn. Like, everything ain't about money. Like, yes, it's important, but y'all don't care about people no more. And we got to get back to it.
All right. This is the final question and the reason we're here today. Life is fleeting. We never know when it's our time. If these were the last words that you ever recorded, what would you say about your life and your legacy?
I would say to live the life that you want, and not the life that anybody else tells you you should live, and to also care more about the earth that we have, care more about all the living things here, the plants, the animals, the people. Put more effort into that and making, yourself happy, and not in like a selfish way exactly, but don't let anybody determine your path, and actually determine what your path is going to be versus just kind of skating through life. And once again, love on all the living things, because that's super important. And the way that the earth is now, global warming, it's disgusting. Like, this weather is gross. And it's our duty to take care of it now and try to reverse the little bit that we probably can.
I'll ask one last time.
Oh, snap.
Who are you?
I'm Kia. I am a lover of earth things, of sustainability, of animals, of my family, of other people, of patients, because I am a nurse. I don't hate nursing. I enjoy nursing, but I love art. I'm an artist. I'm a creator. And that's me.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.